Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to Daybreak on Trust Television, reaching you from the nation's capital in Abuja. My name is Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. Of course, I'm not alone. Good morning, Stella.
Good morning, Ayuba, and thank you for joining us again this morning. My name is Stella Iyachi.
And yes, we are counting down to the last days of December already. Today is the 6th of December, and I think this is the first day we're on the show
For this month
of December, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of preparations ahead of the festive period, and not just the festive period also, but there's a lot of heightened activities for the political season, talking about the presidential election and all the other elections.
Yes, I have a feeling that even during the festive period, a lot of people will not focus just on the festivities. They will still be talking about the elections, because just when you're coming back, the elections will be coming up.
Exactly.
It's in February.
Exactly. Yeah. So I foresee a lot of campaigns during the Christmas season.
A lot of gatherings that are supposed to be for the festivities will be turned into campaign season, campaign speeches and all of that. Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's take a look at the headlines for this morning. Buhari constructed roads to your hometown. Lai Mohammed blasts Atiku.
Soludo urges church to confront idolatry in Anambra.
2023 elections. Tinubu delegates El-Rufai, others to answer questions at Chatham House.
Now let's take a look at the details. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, on Monday blasted the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, for accusing President Muhammadu Buhari of not doing enough for Nigeria in over 7 years. Speaking in Abuja at the 7th edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard Series 2015 to 2023, he flagged what he called the increasing tendency of some opposition presidential candidates in their desperation for power ahead of 2023 elections to downplay the achievements of the present administration. The minister said the worst offender in this regard is the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar.
The electioneering of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, took an intriguing twist on Monday at the Chatham House in London, as he delegated some members of the party to respond to questions posed to him. Tinubu was in Chatham House to speak to Nigerians in the diaspora on why he should be elected in 2023. After his presentation, which was live-streamed on Arise TV, some members of the audience asked him some questions bordering on insecurity, oil theft, education, and the economy, and how he planned to address crisis in those areas if he became president. As he was asked by the moderator to respond to the questions, Tinubu said he will assign some members of his entourage to do so. The former Lagos State Governor assigned Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State to speak on how his Tinubu-led government will address insecurity, and ask the Director of Strategic Communication of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, Dele Aleke, to respond to the questions on oil theft. Tinubu also delegated a former Commissioner for Finance in Lagos State, Wale Edun, to respond to a question on how he, Tinubu, will boost the economy if elected.
Governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, has tasked the church in the spirit of ecumenism to confront idolatry, which is fast taking over the land. Soludo made the call at the dedication of the new church building of the House of Testimony Life of Faith Gospel Assembly at the Federal Housing Estate in Onitsha. He described Anambra as God's own state, urging all denominations to unite as one body in Christ Jesus to fight the common criminals. Soludo said that he had come in solidarity with Christians to fight the evil of idolatry in the state. Speaking on his 8 months in office, Governor Soludo disclosed that while many governments usually grapple with setting up their cabinets, his administration can account for what it has achieved every day of the 8 months.
All right. Now to some packages this morning. We have the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, has said that the federal government made considerable progress in providing access to potable water in Nigeria, with 66,761 water schemes producing nearly 800 million liters daily and serving over 32 million Nigerians. Adamu made this known at a press briefing in Abuja. The report.
At the event, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, debunked claims by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar that the Buhari administration had done nothing.
There have been 29,461 beneficiaries from Adamawa State alone of the Empower program of the Buhari administration. Under the homegrown school feeding program, so 162,782 pupils from Adamawa State are benefiting from our 1 million day program. That program employs also 2,259 cooks in Adamawa and has covered 1,236 schools in the state. How many school children did the PDP feed in Adamawa or anywhere in the 8 years of that Atiku Abubakar was vice president?
Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu, while highlighting achievements from 2015 towards 2023, says the ministry's activities are guided by the provisions of the National Water Resources Master Plan, 2016 to 2030 Water Sector Roadmap, and the Sustainable Development Goals. He noted that new projects were not introduced since 116 water supply projects, dams, hydropower and irrigation projects were inherited, with several uncompleted or abandoned ones since the 1980s.
Nigeria has a potential of, according to the Water Resources Master Plan, 12,200 megawatts. But with improvement in technology, where you can cascade, you can have a hydropower plant and you can go downstream and have another one, I think this is understated. Kainji and Jeba and Shiroro account for 1,930 megawatts, and I believe Zunye will still come on board.
Adamu also spoke on efforts by the federal government to boost agriculture and food security of the nation, as well as hydropower generation.
We've been able, in the last 7 years, to provide potable water to Nigerians, to 32 million Nigerians. 6,761 water schemes developed across the country in urban, small town and rural areas, providing 794 million liters per day. And out of the 36 or 41 water supply projects we inherited, we added over a few to the state. We prioritized 36. And out of the 36 we prioritized, we've completed 30. And the rest, like I said, were either closed or transferred to the state.
Meanwhile, stakeholders in the sector want the federal government to take control of interstate waters and other provisions contained in the proposed Nigeria Water Resources Bill at the National Assembly to ensure effective administration of the sector. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Aisha, for that report. Now, passengers have been assured of their safety as the Abuja-Kaduna train service resumed operations on Monday. The Nigeria Railway Corporation had suspended the operation of the train service linking Abuja to Kaduna on March 28th after terrorists attacked the train around Regina area of Kaduna. During the attack, the train was carrying 362 passengers, 62 of whom were kidnapped. Noel Sampson reports that the train departed the Idu train station at 9:45 for Kaduna for the first time in more than 250 days. Let's take the report.
It is good news for passengers that the train shuttle service between Abuja and Kaduna resumes after a long period of suspension. The Nigeria Railway Corporation said it has taken measures to ensure sustainable security for its passengers. The atmosphere at Idu station is reassuring as operation commences fully, with the train departing Idu station in Abuja at 9:45 a.m. It is expected to arrive Kaduna at 11:53 a.m.
Well, you wouldn't have expected to have full complement of passengers being the first day. And the decision to resume service today was taken within a short notice. But I hope that going forward, you will see there will be improvement in the passenger turnout. Security issues are not discussed in the open, because if you discuss in the open, our detractors will go and strategize. So, by the special grace of God, we are on top of it.
Passengers expressed joy as operations begin, saying they have waited so long for the operation to resume.
I was so excited, extremely excited when I learned they are going to start the program today. So much so that I was the first to arrive at the station.
I'm happy, and I think it's the right direction, coupled with what have happened, and people are still living in fears of traveling by even the road and the train now. And so it might be apprehensive, but we can't continue to live in fears.
Although some passengers still face difficulties booking their tickets, they testify that there have been security beef up.
Yeah, the issue that I had yesterday in the night when I was trying to get a ticket, the time, because I booked 9:45. When they were trying to issue me the ticket, they gave me 3. That is afternoon instead of morning. That is the only issue.
Some of us had was the buying of the tickets. It wasn't the way it was supposed to be, because the online ticketing, which most of us used to, we go through to buy the ticket, we go through to get the ticket, was a bit difficult. There have been a lot of securities, and the policemen, the civil defense are on board. A lot of screenings before you check in.
However, Nigerians want the federal government to beef up security in all parts of the country, not only at the rail stations and rail tracks, to guarantee free movement of people. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
All right, now as the Abuja-Kaduna train service resumes operation on Monday, passengers have expressed satisfaction with the security measures put in place and called on the government to sustain them in order to ensure the safety of passengers. The resumption of the train service also revived businesses that were hitherto crippled at Rigasa station due to the suspension of the train service as a result of the terrorist attacks. Bello Musa reports.
In the early hours of Monday, December 5, life returned to Rigasa train station. There is proper scrutiny of passengers' identity and their luggage prior to boarding. Security measures have also been intensified to ensure the safety of passengers boarding the train. Some of the passengers react to security measures put in place for their safety.
Part of the checking in is much better with the introduction of NIN and our profile picture showing as we were asked to check in, which is very, very good. We also employ the government to also deploy other security measures like the use of drones to monitor and surveillance cameras as well. That was also helping in a very long way to ensure that things work fine. But to log online, around 10 a.m. yesterday, I went to the app, I put in my NIN number, and then I went ahead and I booked my ticket. So it was easy and seamless.
With the resumption of this train, I think it shows that the government is doing the right thing and ensuring that to give passengers an ease of life in taking people to Abuja.
Very nice, same experience as usual, and even more refilling and fulfilling experience than before from the station down to this place. We are so glad to resume the service. We are so glad to resume with the train station services. We are so glad.
This passenger, who refused to reveal her name, missed the first Kaduna-Abuja train due to an unsuccessful online booking attempt.
And I don't know, yesterday I tried to buy online and the system was not just giving me ticket. So I came here physically. I've been on the queue for over 40 minutes. And I see some people with tickets and I have not been able to get.
Do you see any behind the scene?
I haven't seen anything, but who is going to enter the train? Is somebody sabotaging the movement of the train? You see?
Did you book your ticket?
It's going. I tried to book, but the network was not giving me. Their platform was down.
Kaduna State Commissioner of Police, Yakini Ayoku, who was at the Rigasa train station, assured passengers of maximum security.
Ordered for the deployment of critical assets of the force to man the train, the railway route, and facilities along the route, stations along the route. Assets of the force include both operational and intelligence assets to ensure safety and security of the train and of the passengers going forward. We have come to see the level of deployment and compliance with the IGP's directive.
While business activities at the Rigasa train station are resurfacing, with traders and taxi drivers spotted around the station.
Actually, we suffered a lot. We suffered a lot because this is the only thing we know. Driving is our job. For quite some time, we are not working, and now we are back to our work. All of us are happy.
Saboda yau da jirgin nan ya dawo aiki, da safen nan ka zo nan ma za ka sha wani abun bai faru ba.
With the resumption of train service, jobs that were lost will be restored, while economic activities at Rigasa community will receive a boost. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
All right, now over to Katsina State, where police have arrested one Sani Bello of Saboa local government area of the state, who specializes in making charms for terrorists. Sani Bello, a suspected soothsayer, was also said to be a collaborator of terrorists. Abdullahi Yamadi reports that the police also arrested suspected armed robbers terrorizing residents of the city. Let's take the report.
According to police, the suspect has been making and delivering charms and spiritual bulletproof jackets to terrorists around Funtua Sabwa axis. The suspect admitted working closely with the terrorist groups and providing them with charms. Similarly, police operatives in Katsina are investigating a syndicate of 5 suspected armed robbers who specialized in scaling and breaking into people's houses to rob them of their monies and other valuables. Yes, I and other members of our gang have been in this criminality for long. In fact, we participated in many armed robbery in the Asian city. The most recent before our arrest is at Dutsen Amari quarters in Katsina Metropolis. Also in the police custody is a notorious gang of drugs peddlers who were arrested in possession of 134 parcels containing dried leaves suspected to be cannabis sativa. The suspects Bashir Lawal, Umar A. Adam and Zainab Umar from Ibadan, Oyo State were arrested in Katsina en route Maradi in Niger Republic through Dankama border. We take cannabis sativa from Ibadan in Oyo State to Maradi in Niger Republic through Dankama Aje axis, which is our usual route. This is the second time we are passing through that border, and we hope you will temper justice with mercy. In the same vein, the police is investigating a notorious motorcycles thief, Bashir Anjuma alias Turmi, who has been in the police wanted list. The 23-year-old suspected thief was apprehended in possession of 2 stolen motorcycles in Katsina.
In fact, many more other motorcycles are coming on, but so far we have recovered these 2 motorcycles as investigation is ongoing.
The command is enjoying good people of Katsina State to ensure proper moral upbringing of their children and always provide vital information that will lead to defeating criminals and their collaborators. Abdullahi Ismail Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
All right, now Kasuwar Kanawa is a famous market in Sokoto State established by visiting traders during the national preaching of the Jibwis held in the state about 20 years ago. The market is known by its unique operational features that distinguish it from other markets in the state. In this report, Yushao Adamu examines what makes Kasuwar Kanawa unique among its peers.
At about 2 p.m., when business activities are expected to be at their peak, Kasuwar Kanawa was deserted, with majority of the shops under lock and key. Business activities at Kasuwar Kanawa usually starts from 6 p.m. and ends at 12 midnight or even beyond. During Salah and Maulud festivities, the market operates from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, as customers from far and near are trooping into the market to shop for their loved ones.
An kafa wannan kasuwa ne
lokacin da aka yi wa'azin ƙasa.
This market was established during the national preaching organized by Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamatis Sunnah. Traditionally, during this kind of gathering, traders also conduct their businesses. So after the event, the traders realize opportunities for business and therefore remain behind and continue with their businesses. That was how the market started. The market was named Kasuwar Kanawa because majority of the traders who remained behind after the annual preaching were from Kano State.
Mutanen Kano sun fi yawa. To zaman sunan din sai yasa ake kiran sunan da Kasuwar Kanawa.
Traders from across the northern states who deal in shoes, bags, cosmetics and textiles are making brisk businesses at this market during the annual Salah and Maulud festivities. Consequently, when the festivities are over, the visiting traders will go back to their respective states until next year, same time.
Yanyan kasuwar Kanawa ana gudana kamar sauran kasuwanni.
Business at Kasuwar Kanawa is being conducted like in any other market, except that in this market business starts from evening and ends at 12. And during Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Kabir, we normally spend the whole night conducting our businesses.
An tashi ita kasuwar Kanawa na iya kai har karfe 10 har 11 har 12 ma.
Kasuwar Kanawa is being patronized largely by women because of its specialty and discounted prices of goods sold at the market. As the market continues to gain its ground, traders are in need of financial assistance from the authorities concerned to boost their businesses. I came from Gezawa local government area of Kano State. I have been conducting business in this market for almost 10 years now. At the beginning, I shuttled, but later I relocated to Sokoto with my family. If the Sokoto state government can support the business activities of traders at Kasuwar Kanawa, substantial revenue could be generated for the state. From Sokoto, Yushau Adamu, Trust TV News.
That's quite an interesting one. Thank you, Yusha Adamu, for that report. We'll now go for a short break. When we return, we'll look at what the newspapers are saying today. Please stay.
But in a situation where you find that a person look at the same,
not necessarily tribal or regional.
But I have said that.
As part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Really, if you look at England's squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dssPR@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
But in a situation where you find that a person look like the same,
not necessarily tribal or regional.
but I have said that.
All right, thank you for staying with us. You're watching Daybreak on Trust Television. Let's have a look at some of the stories on the front pages of our newspapers this morning, the dailies on Daybreak. I'll begin with the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The lead story there talks about Tinubu takes campaign to UK. Atiku woos Lagos voters. It has the riders that says, how I will tackle insecurity, energy crisis, ex-Lagos governor. Records of my background, age, education consistent. I will sell refineries to raise $10 billion employment fund. PDP candidate. We are ordained to end Tinubu's dynasty in Lagos, Jando. So you'd also find the pictorial there showing you the PDP campaign in Lagos yesterday, and also the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, at the Chatham House yesterday, where he had an interface. We also have other stories. Above the lead story, FG introduces menial studies, others to varsity's curriculum, and you'd find the details of that on page 34. Passengers, apathy as Kaduna-Abuja train service resumes, and that's on page 24. FG orders redeployment of prison officers who cannot shoot to kill. You'll find that on page 5. And then also beside the pictorial, bandit killed 3 policemen, others in Sokoto, on page 8. Protect our facilities. INEC begs Nigerians, on page 33. 4 nabbed as APC-PDP clash over billboards in Kwara. So these are some of the stories on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Now let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. It has a lead story that says, well, the lead story is on economy. Naira depreciation adds 9 trillion naira to foreign debt burden. As local currency weakens by 53%, external debt rises by 288%. We also have a second rider. Nigeria needs strong, productive economy, says economist. And just by the masthead, federal government not ready to fund varsities. This is coming from ASU. And above the masthead, We have Tinubu takes campaign to UK. Atiku train storms Lagos. We also have a pictorial here of the train that resumed operation yesterday. That is talking about the Abuja-Kaduna train. And the caption beneath it says, Abuja-Kaduna train records low passenger turnout. And then we have Nigeria projects 1.8 million barrels production by May 2023. Nigerians with NIN rise to 92 million. Still on the Punch, oil theft, Navy denies blaming NNPCL. These are the major stories on the Punch newspaper for today.
All right, so let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. On the Nation, the lead story, Tinubu points way forward on power, security and others. You would have Chatham Household's APC candidate, Erufai Wale Edu, Bajabia Mila, Ayade, Alake, Beta Edu, speak. You would also find other stories there above the lead story. Atiku, I will sell off refineries to raise $10 billion for SMEs. Oil theft, we didn't indict NNPCL, says Navy. You would find also why I deserve re-election by Governor Sanwo-Olu. Akeredolu presents 272.73 billion naira budget, and also have Wike attacks Dogara for backing Atiku. So it says ex-speaker fires back, ex-VP can't see Buhari's achievement, says government. These are the stories on the front page of the Nation newspaper.
All right, let's look at the Guardian newspaper. It has a lead story that says 7 years after, Buhari falters on 24 million jobs promise. And the first rider, NBS fails to release unemployment rates since 2020. Ngige's claim of 7 million jobs created unlikely. And we have insecurity, COVID-19, others undermine efforts to lift 100 million out of poverty. And just beneath the masthead, federal government decries opposition's downplaying of Buhari's achievements. I am ready to lead Nigeria, Tinubu says at Chatham House. And beneath the pictorial, we have INEC. This is coming from INEC. Elections can't be conducted in an atmosphere of violence. We also have election not our priority now as a nation, says Emmanuel. We'll fire back if Atiku's boys attack G5 governors again, Wike says. And just beneath that, oil theft. Navy absolves NNPC of culpability. These are the major stories on the Guardian newspaper.
All right, so let's take a look at the Vanguard newspaper. On the Vanguard, the lead story says INEC yet to assure us on beavers. And that's according to Tinubu, declares, I've collected my original certificate, says one of my opponents may not be Nigerian. Some Nigerians stage hashtag harass Tinubu out of London protest. Tinubu delegates Erufai Alake Edun to answer questions. Tinubu's Chatham House performance, a disgrace, PDP campaign. You'd find also above the masthead, subsidy. We won't accept any fuel price hike. And that's according to NLC. And also oil theft. We didn't indict NNPC, says Navy. No intention to disrupt 2023 polls, says IPOP. You also have other stories below the pictorial. Body of benches. NBA tackles Olanipekun, insists he must resign. You must remain neutral, Buhari warns army. 2023. Don't despair, Oshibajo can urge Nigerians. You also have the footnote there, Dogara to Wike, you are suffering from amnesia. Gunmen abduct Benue commissioner. Abuja-Kaduna train resumes operations with low turnout. You lack moral basis to criticize Buhari, Lai Mohammed tells Atiku and the PDP. Now, these are some of the stories on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, and that's about it, the stories that we have on our papers this morning. Quite interesting story. All focus on the outing of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, at the Chatham House in London yesterday. A lot of reactions have trailed, what transpired at the Chatham House yesterday. While on social media, you could see how some kind of commending the APC presidential candidate for delegating or assigning, let me say, some questions put forward to him, to some of the members of the APC, his entourage that went there with him, such as Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, former governor, the current governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to answer some of the questions. Now, some Nigerians are saying that, look, that's synonymous to abdication of responsibility. And others are saying, well, it's a demonstration of his leadership style and qualities. He's demonstrating that he's a team lead that allows all his team players to make contributions to certain things.
Well, and some are saying he's the candidate. He should be the one to answer the questions, because a section of the people who reacted said that if you're the candidate, people want to hear what it is that you would do. Because these people answering the questions are not on the ballot. They're not going to be on the ballot. And if he wins the election and becomes the president, he can actually say, well, I didn't promise to do that, because he didn't answer. He's not the one that gave that answer. If maybe Governor El-Rufai gives an answer, or Dele Alake gives an answer, or, they're not the candidates. So at this point, that's what some people are saying, especially on social media.
These are some of the arguments. But whichever way you look at it, at the end of the day, I think the whole essence of some of these engagements, the town hall meetings, the interviews and everything, the whole idea is for the candidates to be able to speak to Nigerians as to what they are bringing.
Which is also why some persons on social media are worrying or querying why the APC presidential candidate left the country to London when he should have attended the town hall meeting, where other top candidates attended.
Yes,
because first of all, the voters are here. That's what, some people are saying.
Yes, and it's for some unacceptable that you have a presidential candidate who I think in some belief has evaded appearances when it comes to interviews such as the town hall meetings to be able to address Nigerians. Well, in his own defense, he said that, well, he feels that he is a marketable product and that he don't want to be used.
He said they want to use him to make money.
To make money.
Yes, that's what he said
and
in
all
his
of
defense.
That. Those are some of the things that the APC presidential candidate is saying as far as appearances for, interviews and debates, town hall meetings, and the rest of them. But we have seen that the APC presidential candidate has appeared in a couple of other engagements with other groups. For instance, the Northern Elders Forum, the network of Northern Elders, Northern groups that had meetings with all the presidential candidates in times past, a few weeks ago. So we will continue to keep tab on all of this, but again, reactions will continue to trail his outing there. Now, some of the issues that were raised by some of those who responded to the questions, the governor of Kaduna State in particular responded to the issue of insecurity, and he talked about how that there is need to increase the size of our security personnel, the police and the armed forces. He talks about the number being quite low, and this is something that, we all have a consensus on.
Everybody has talked about that, actually.
The experts have said that, look, we have a very insufficient number of security personnel that can actually deal with the threats that we are dealing with right now. As a country with a population like ours, over 200 million people, you have you have less than 1 million, just around 500,000 security personnel in totality. That's combining the armed forces, the police, the civil defense, all of them. It's not more than 500,000.
So and that is against a population of over 217 million.
Exactly. So it's largely largely inadequate, to be able to deal with some of the threats that we are looking at. The issue of oil theft was also raised.
And then there was something the APC candidate also said that I found very instructive. The fact that he said he's totally against any form of political violence. When he said that, I was just saying to myself, I hope his supporters are listening to this. I mean, if your candidate is saying, I'm totally against any form of political violence, that should guide your behavior before, during, and after the elections.
Even your utterances.
Exactly.
Because we have seen more of verbal attacks. We've seen more of, confrontation on personalities instead of on the issues. And sometimes, maybe not directly from the presidential candidate themselves, but from their
supporters,
their spokespersons, have thrown jabs at each other and all of that. And analysts and experts are actually worried that this could lead to even physical attacks, because by the time you overheat the polity with certain rhetorics, with certain kind of derogatory statements, it could lead to physical attacks. And this is one of the concerns that experts are raising as far as the 2023 general elections
I know
are
still. Yeah, you know why the APC candidate was talking at the Chatham House? Atiku was also in Lagos.
Yes.
Yes. He says he's going to sell all the refineries and use the money judiciously.
And he's very particular about raising this $10 billion for job creation in the country.
Which is one of the biggest problems in Nigeria at the moment.
It is. I mean, when you have an unemployment rate of, over 33%, I mean, that does not all go well for the country. A country that has a population of 133 million Nigerians, in the category of multidimensional poverty, multidimensionally poor, that's, unacceptable. And when you add that to the projections about, population explosion, we recently talked about the world now being 8 billion people.
And how Nigeria in a couple of years will be the third most populous country.
Exactly. Nigeria,
that in itself is scary.
Yes, Nigeria is contributing, Nigeria among 8 other countries are the major contributors to that number, and the projections are by 2050 we are going to double the number that we have now. So it's scary when you look at the human development. Human capacity development is a big issue. We need to invest more in making sure that more people are educated and all of that, and that's what formed the discussions. And I'm excited that these are the issues that are forming discussions as the presidential candidate are eyeing that #1 seat. Issue of how can we move Nigeria from where it is,
But I think that as much as they say, I want to do this, I'd like them to speak more on how they're going to achieve that. I know they talked, like the APC candidate talked about security, right? And how he made it clear that without security, you cannot do much. But the steps that will be taken, I'd like to hear more of that.
Remains to be seen, right? So one of the things I've heard members of the campaigns have said is that, well, they don't want to divulge in details,
they can tell us
what
part of it.
And how exactly they intend to do it, so that they don't, open up all that they have in store for their opponents, and that others could take advantage of that and pick it up.
Okay,
and the
now,
rest of them. So I've heard that before.
When the APC candidate was speaking yesterday in London, and he talked about agriculture, he said that this administration has done a lot in the area of agriculture, but that his government, if elected, will introduce the use of technology. You see, so that's a way. So we would like to hear more of that, on how you're going to achieve the things that you want to do.
Well, I guess sometimes we just say certain things just to to run away from certain issues, That's my guess. But other issues on the front pages?
There's this story here. Federal government introduces media studies, others to varsity's curriculum. And, it's a good thing that the curriculum is actually being upgraded or reviewed, because a lot of people have complained that one of the reasons there's high unemployment rate is because the curriculum is not in tandem with current realities. The curriculum that you used in maybe the 70s, the 80s, of course, they can't work now because things have changed, and there's a need for people to be educated in line with the things that with the reality that we're facing.
Yes, and for people to be more entrepreneurial in their learning, for them to have more skills such that they can be independent, such that they can stand on their own. And that's why I'm wondering the use of the word menial studies. You know, it gives it a
bit derogatory, right?
Yes.
Well, it's because we look at it that way in this part of the world.
Yes.
I mean, in the West, you could do menial jobs and nobody looks down on you because of the job that you do.
Yes.
I mean, you could be a carpenter, you could be a mechanic, but you're giving your respect. It's only down here that we feel, oh, you have to wear the suit, you have to wear the cap before you are respected and all that. So, yeah.
Well, the whole idea, I believe, when it says menial, doesn't really mean that, oh, it's something you don't want to do.
It just means that
it's something you want to do. Something hands-on,
something
people
more
with
practical.
skills. And, you know, good enough, in virtually all the courses, if you look at it, there are skills that one can actually develop in those areas that can make one to stand out and to be and to do better. You know, not necessarily relying on government for job and employment.
I think that's the end game, so that when people are leaving universities or after the NYSC, they know that there's something I can actually do with my hands without waiting for the white collar jobs.
And this new curriculum also introduces the unbundling of certain disciplines. Mass communication has been unbundled. Agriculture has also been unbundled. Architecture has also been unbundled in this new curriculum. So for mass communication, you have people now focusing mainly on advertising. You know, there are those who will
public relations.
Focusing on public relations, development, communication. These are areas that people are going to be majoring in, unlike what we have usually, where you study mass communication and then you are doing virtually all of these other, you know, areas, areas of specialization in mass communication.
And
so
you know,
that's
one area that has contributed to our economy recently is the area of IT. So it's a good thing that the federal government introduced things like data science, information and communication technology, software engineering. You know, that will boost whatever we begin to get from IT.
Yes, and IT, I can say, has created a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, it is.
These days, especially if you go on social media alone and you see the way, the ingenuity and the way people try to do things on their own to come up with ideas that could be of help. So it's a good one there. Now, other stories there, if you take a look at the resumption of train services yesterday, it was a great, I would say, achievement.
Yes, after 250 days, it's good for them to be back.
Even though there are concerns about apathy and all that, but hey, isn't it expected?
It's to be expected.
Yesterday was the first day. There are people who are watching to see, oh, okay, let's see, how is it going to go? Let's see whether those that, you know, boarded the train are going to arrive safely, and they did.
They did, and they had good testimonies. They were testifying to the fact that security has been beefed up.
Yes. The only other issue that I would like to emphasize is the fact that we need to sustain whatever it is that we've started now. Not that when after a few weeks or, you know, few months, we now go back to status quo. You know, because usually that's the experience. When something is happening and when we, you know, take certain steps, we come in vigorously. But after a period of time,
we just relax and go back into our
and that's
old
when
ways.
the enemies will strike. So it's very important that we sustain whatever it is that we've started now, as far as the security and safety of
and that
people.
introduction of you can't buy tickets except you have your NIN is good.
Yes, it is.
And that even for those who had the NIN and they could not authenticate it, they could not buy the tickets.
So perhaps that's what formed the frustration for some who said they were unable to get the tickets via the online platform, via the
Maybe
website
it was the NIN.
and all that. Perhaps it's one of those are some of the reasons. But I mean, there are people that still don't have their NIN, isn't it?
Well, they should go and get it. There are no crowds anymore. They should go and get it. I mean, we always wait until there's a problem. We always wait until they say, oh, without your NIN, you can't do this. Now there's no crowd, nothing. So you can just walk in and get your NIN.
Let's see how that
You remember what
out.
happened? Was it two years ago when there was this huge crowd? And before then, they had said, go and get this thing.
Yes.
You didn't have to wait until the last minute, you know.
Yes, it's almost like in our culture in Nigeria,
Honestly.
you know, to always wait for the last minutes.
There's a story here. Federal government orders redeployment of police officers who cannot shoot to kill. But the little concern that I have with the story is the fact that the Minister of Interior said that if they cannot shoot to kill, they should either be trained or redeployed. But he went for that to say they could be redeployed to female prisons. But I mean, those who cannot shoot should not also be at female prisons, right?
Well, I guess the whole idea is to make sure that people who are, capable of, doing their, defending, I would say, the prisons, because the prisons usually people look at it as not a place that is really that secured. You feel like the personnel deployed to the prisons are paramilitary officers who do not really have capacity to, shoot and, to show some kind of level of force and all of that. But I think that is changing with the prison breaks that we have seen. It's a great lesson that we have learned, and I believe that this is the way to go. That in fact, we fortify our prisons in a way that not just anyone can just come around and just intrude or invade into the prison. So I think it's a way to go.
Yeah, in fact, the editorial of the Daily Trust today talked about that, but then it focused on the fact that the report of the Kuje prison should be made public.
Yes.
They said they would not make it public because of some security concerns. But the editorial is saying you can produce a redacted copy so that some things that are too sensitive, you don't put them out there. But if you make the report public, those who have committed, those who abdicated their duties will be seen to be punished as well. Yes. That could serve as a deterrence in future.
Yes,
people will take their jobs more seriously.
And the experience we've always had is that most times these committees and these investigations will be done, and you hardly would hear anything about the outcome of the investigation or the report. I mean, it's very common even among our security institutions. And the excuse is always that, we don't want to jeopardize security and the rest of them. But the truth is that we need to be able to begin to name and share.
Yes, if people know that when I do this thing, after investigation, I'll be exposed and all of that, that could stop the person. That could serve as a deterrence, really.
Yes. And it's an area that we need to do more as far as that is concerned. Well, I think that's the much we can take on the papers for today. We'll take a short breather, and then when we return on top of the hour, we'll take a look at some of the major stories, the headlines again, and also our discussion on the program for today. Join us again.
But in a situation where you find that a look at the same,
not necessarily tribal or regional.
I have said that.
That's great. It's good to see you.
All right, thank you for staying with us. If you are just joining, you're watching Daybreak on Trust Television. It's top of the hour now for us to take a look at the headlines again. Buhari constructed the road to your hometown. Lai Mohammed blast Atiku.
Soludo urges church to confront idolatry in Anambra.
2023 election, Tinubu delegates El-Rufai, others to answer questions at Chatham House.
Now let's take a look at the details. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, on Monday blasted the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, for accusing President Muhammadu Buhari of not doing enough for Nigeria in over 7 years. Speaking in Abuja at the 7th edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard Series 2015 to 2023, he fled what he called the increasing tendency by some opposition presidential candidates in their desperation for power ahead of 2023 elections to downplay the achievements of the present administration. The minister said the worst offender in this regard is the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar.
Now, the electioneering of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, took an intriguing twist on Monday at the Chatham House in London as he delegated some members of the party to respond to questions posed to him. Tinubu was in Chatham House to speak to Nigerians in the diaspora on why he should be elected in 2023. After his presentation, which was live streamed on Arise TV, some members of the audience asked him some questions bordering on insecurity, oil theft, education and economy, and how he planned to address crises in those areas if he became president. As he was asked by the moderator to respond to the questions, Tinubu said that he will assign some members of his entourage to do so. The former Lagos State Governor assigned Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State to speak on how his administration will address insecurity and ask the Director of Strategic Communication of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, Dele Aleke, to respond to the questions on oil theft. Tinubu also delegated a former commissioner for finance in Lagos State Wale Edun, to respond to a question on how the administration will boost the economy if elected.
Youths are part of today, but they are the greatest asset for tomorrow. We need to prepare them from now, from our all-inclusive government. The youth has been part of that. Yes, the education system is to change. We overhaul it. Tinker with some areas that with the philosophy that no one will be left behind. There be student loan for all the students. We are going to reform the Almajiri system. We are equally going to build additional schools and recruit more teachers and train them well.
Now, Governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, has tasked the church in the spirit of ecumenism to confront idolatry, which is fast taking over the land. Soludo made the call at the dedication of the new church building of the House of Testimony, Life of Faith Gospel Assembly at the Federal Housing Estate in Onitsha. He described Anambra as God's own state, urging all denominations to unite as one body in Christ Jesus to fight the common criminals. Soludo said that he has come in solidarity with Christians to fight the evil of idolatry in the state. Speaking on his 8 months in office, Governor Soludo said that while many governments usually grapple with setting up their cabinets, his administration can account for what it has achieved every day of the 8 months.
All right, now we'll take a look at some of the packages that we have this morning. Kasuwar Kanawa is a famous market in Sokoto State established by visiting traders during the national preaching of the Jibuis held in the state about 20 years ago. This market is known by its unique operational features that distinguish it from other markets in the state. In this report, Yushao Adamu examines what makes Kasuwar Kanawa unique among its peers.
At about 2 p.m., when business activities are expected to be at their peak, Kasuwar Kanawa was deserted, with majority of the shops under lock and key. Business activities at Kasuwar Kanawa usually starts from 6 p.m. and ends at 12 midnight or even beyond. During Salah and Maulud festivities, the market operates from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, as customers from far and near are trooping into the market to shop for their loved ones.
An kafa wannan kasuwa ne lokacin da aka yi wa'azin ƙasa.
This market was established during the national preaching organized by Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamatis Sunnah. Traditionally, during this kind of gathering, traders also conduct their businesses. So after the event, the traders realize opportunities for business and therefore remain behind and continue with their businesses. That was how the market started. The market was named Kasuwar Kanawa because majority of the traders who remained behind after the annual preaching were from Kano State.
Mutanen Kano sun fi yawa. To zaman sunan din sai yasa ake kiran sunan da Kasuwar Kanawa.
Traders from across the northern states who deal in shoes, bags, cosmetics and textiles are making brisk businesses at this market during the annual Salah and Maulud festivities. Consequently, when the festivities are over, the visiting traders will go back to their respective states until next year, same time.
Yanayin kasuwar Kanawa ana gudana kamar sauran kasuwanni.
Business at Kasuwar Kanawa is being conducted like in any other market, except that in this market, business starts from evening and ends at 12. And during Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Kabir, we normally spend the whole night conducting our businesses.
An tashi ita kasuwar Kanawa na iya kai har karfe 10 har 11 har 12 ma.
Kasuwar Kanawa is being patronized largely by women because of its specialty and discounted prices of goods sold at the market. As the market continues to gain its ground, Traders are in need of financial assistance from the authorities concerned to boost their businesses. I came from Gezawa local government area of Kano State. I have been conducting business in this market for almost 10 years now. At the beginning, I shuttled, but later I relocated to Sokoto with my family. If the Sokoto state government can support the business activities of traders at Kasuwar Kanawa, substantial revenue could be generated for the state. From Sokoto, Yushau Adamu, Trust TV News.
All right, thank you, Yushau, for that report. Passengers have been assured of their safety as the Abuja-Kaduna train service resumed operations yesterday, Monday. The Nigerian Railway Corporation had suspended the operation of the train service linking Abuja to Kaduna on March 28th after terrorists attacked the train around the Regina area of Kaduna. During the attack, the train was carrying 362 passengers, 62 of whom were kidnapped. Noel Samson reports that the train departed the Idu train station at 9:45 a.m. for Kaduna for the first time in more than 250 days. Let's take the report.
It is good news for passengers that the train shuttle service between Abuja and Kaduna resumes after a long period of suspension. The Nigerian Railway Corporation said it has taken measures to ensure sustainable security for its passengers. The atmosphere at Idu Station is reassuring as operation commences fully with the train departing Idu Station in Abuja at 9:45 a.m. It is expected to arrive Kaduna at 11:53 a.m.
Well, you wouldn't have expected to have full complement of passengers being the first day. And you know, the decision to resume service today was taken within a short notice. You know, but I hope that going forward, you will see there will be improvement in the passenger turnout. You know, security issues are not discussed in the open, because if you discuss in the open, our detractors will go and strategize. So, by the special grace of God, we are on top of it.
Passengers expressed joy as operations begin, saying they have waited so long for the operation to resume.
If I was so excited, extremely excited when I learned they are going to start the program today. So much so that I was the first to arrive at the station.
I'm happy, and I think it's the right direction, coupled with what have happened, and people are still living in fears of traveling by even the road and the train now. And so it might be apprehensive, but we can't continue to live in fears.
Although some passengers still face difficulties booking their tickets, they testify that there have been security beef up.
Yeah, the issue that I had yesterday in the night when I was trying to get a ticket, the time, because I booked 9:45, when they were trying to issue me the ticket, they gave me 3. That is afternoon instead of morning. That is the only issue.
Some of us had was the buying of the tickets. It wasn't the way it was supposed to be, because the online ticketing, which most of us used to, we go through to buy the ticket, we go through to get the ticket, was a bit difficult. There have been a lot of securities, and the policemen, the civil defense are on board. A lot of screenings before you check in.
However, Nigerians want the federal government to beef up security in all parts of the country, not only at the rail stations and rail tracks, to guarantee free movement of people. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
All right, now, as the Abuja-Kaduna train service resumes operations on Monday, passengers have expressed satisfaction with the security measures put in place and called on the government to sustain them in order to ensure the safety of passengers. The resumption of the train service also revived businesses that were hitherto crippled at Rigasa train station due to the suspension of the train service as a result of terrorist attacks.
In the early hours of Monday, December 5, live returned to Rigasa train station. There is proper scrutiny of passengers' identity and their luggage prior to boarding. Security measures have also been intensified to ensure the safety of passengers boarding the train. Some of the passengers react to security measures put in place for their safety.
And part of the checking in is much better with the introduction of NIN and our profile picture showing as we were asked to check in, which is very, very good. We also employ the government to also deploy other security measures like the use of drones to monitor and surveillance cameras as well. That was also helping a very long way to ensure that things work fine. But to log online, around 10 a.m. yesterday, I went to the app. I put in my NIN number and then I went ahead and I booked my tickets. It was easy and seamless.
With the resumption of this train, I think it shows that the government is doing the right thing and ensuring that to give passengers an ease of life in moving to taking people to Abuja.
Very nice, same experience as usual, and even more refilling and fulfilling experience than before from the station down to this place. We are so glad to resume the service. We are so glad to resume with the train station services. We are so glad.
This passenger, who refused to reveal her name, missed the first Kaduna-Abuja train due to an unsuccessful online booking attempt.
And I don't know, yesterday I tried to buy online and the system was not just giving me ticket. So I came here physically. I've been on the queue for over 40 minutes. And I see some people with tickets and I have not been able to get.
Do you see any behind the scene?
I haven't seen anything, but who is going to enter the train? Is somebody sabotaging the movement of the train? You see?
Did you book your ticket?
It's going. I tried to book, but the network was not giving me. Their platform was down.
Kaduna State Commissioner of Police, Yakini Ayoku, who was at the Rigasa train station, assured passengers of maximum security.
Ordered for the deployment of critical assets of the force to man the train, the railway route, and facilities along the route, stations along the route. Assets of the force include both operational and intelligence assets to ensure safety and security of the train and of the passengers going forward. We have come to see the level of deployment and compliance with the IGP's directive.
While business activities at the Rigasa train station are resurfacing with traders and taxi drivers spotted around the station.
Actually, we suffered a lot. We suffered a lot because this is the only thing we know. Driving is our job. For quite some time, we are not working, and now we are back to our work. All of us are happy.
Saboda yau da jirgin nan ya dawo aiki, da safen nan ka zo nan ma za ka sha wani abun bai faru ba.
With the resumption of train service, jobs that were lost will be restored, while economic activities at Rigasa community will receive a boost. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
All right, thank you, Bello Musa, for that report. With that, we'll go for a short break now. When we return, we'll continue with our discussions for the day. Please stay.
That's great. It's good to see you.
daidai.
All right, thank you for staying with us. If you are just joining, you're watching Daybreak on Trust Television, reaching you from the nation's capital. It's time for us to take a look at the next discussion on the program. Now, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on Monday addressed the British Royal Institute on the 2023 general elections. The address, which took place at the Chatham House, focused on national security, economy, and also the foreign policy imperatives. We'll take a look at excerpts from that outing.
Youths are part of today, but they are the greatest asset for tomorrow. We need to prepare them from now, from our all-inclusive government. The youth has been part of that. Yes, the education system is to change. We overhaul it. Tinker with some areas that with the philosophy that no one will be left behind. There be student loan for all the students. We are going to reform the Almajiri system. We are equally going to build additional schools and recruit more teachers and train them well.
Well, there you have it, the APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu at the Chatham House yesterday, where he gave address there about what he intends to do when he becomes president of Nigeria. Now, we have two APC members in the studio right now with us, Honorable Danjuma Mohammed and Comrade Musa Ali Otigba, who joined to give us perspectives and more insight, and also perhaps talk about the reactions that have trailed to this outing by Bola Tinubu. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
All right, well, let me start with you, Honorable Danjuma. Your presidential candidate is already receiving a lot of backlash as a result of this outing for mainly assigning certain questions asked to him to some of his members of the APC that went alongside him to London for this outing. And people are saying that this is like abdicating responsibility. The Nigerian people want to hear from him, who is the flag bearer, who is going to be steering the ship, directly from him and not anyone else. What do you say to that?
Yes, first let me correct the impression. The backlash you talk about, I can assure you, is mainly from the opposition that has no issues to discuss other than our principle. In addition to that, you see, he knew the importance of the Chatham House platform. It's a global platform. And he simply decided to convey a global message. It is not the leader that is the only issue in this election, but also his team. What our principal did at the Chatham House was simply to give the entire world a feel of the quality of the team he intends to come to power with. The questions, he could have taken all the questions if he had wanted to, but he took them there not as spectators.
Yes. Those are the persons that are going to be part of his cabinet if he were to win the election.
I said a feel, certainly. Of course, certainly. In fact, you can see that even in the Ariwa House, during the Ariwa town hall in Kaduna, he made it very clear that he was going to run the government alongside with El Rufai. So that team you see there is going to constitute part of the team in government.
But we saw a video, just a slight deviation.
Yes, please.
We saw a video of Nasser El Rufai where he said he's not interested in any position. He doesn't want anything from this government. And he has said so to the presidential candidate of the APC. So what are we looking at here?
Even right there, the presidential candidate insisted on the day he told El Rufai practically that he was going to be part of his team. He told him that even if you don't want to, I will make sure that you are part of my government. And El Rufai is part of it already, because that is why he was at Chatham with our principal. So it has nothing to do with abdication of responsibility. He's a man who sees far ahead of his time. You see, the truth of the matter, and that is the highlight of his discussion at Chatham, is simply to convey a very special hint to the potential direct foreign investors in Nigeria. Hear that he said they should brace up for a Nigerian economy where, that will be solely driven by private capital. I mean, that is the highlight of that discussion there.
Honorable Danjuma, let's still go back to the fact that he asked some persons to answer the questions that were put to him.
Yes,
we have had a scenario in this country where somebody won an election and people demanded of him a certain thing that was promised by his party during the campaigns. And he said he never said anything like that. And to be fair to him, he didn't say that. It was his party that said it. So that is why some persons on social media are saying it would have been better for the candidate to answer those questions, because he's the one that is going to be on the ballot.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that has been taken by the fact that the candidate has an accessible manifesto of his own. And that is even the first time in the history of presidential campaign in Nigeria that a presidential candidate took out time to bring out a unified, a formidable manifesto apart from the party's manifesto. That speaks volume of the character of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So the fact is that the questions that were asked and answers that were given by himself and the other persons, he permitted to speak, were within the context of the manifesto. So you don't have all that to bother. It's accessible. The manifesto is there. It's a social contract between him and Nigerians.
Okay, let's come to Comrade Musa Ali now here. Aren't you concerned that, just don't worry. Aren't you concerned that this could kind of give validity to those who argue that the APC presidential candidate is perhaps clueless, is perhaps not knowledgeable about some of the issues, and so this is a way of excusing himself. This is an escapee method or a way of, avoiding being confronted with certain tough questions and tough issues. And also, to back that up, they may say, well, he has been avoiding town hall meetings where he will be engaged one-on-one in interviews and all of that.
Thank you very much. I listened to Babatunde Raji Fashola, former governor of Lagos State and former chief of staff to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He said one thing. He said, when Asiwaju was governor of Lagos, he never liked taking decision alone. Even in state executive council meeting, he sit and you discuss. He likes teamwork. He doesn't like, it's only Asiwaju that said this. Just like my colleague said, there is a manifesto. All they went to discuss there is how they are going to implement that manifesto. And he is not the only one that is going to implement it. He's going to work with a team. And to tell you that
he takes the final decision.
He takes the final decision, but he need to also understand, to also know, or to make the world know that those that are going to work with him also understand the manifesto. That is why they are giving the answers as if it's Asiwaju that was giving the answers.
What if some of those things that those people said are not the things that he plans to do?
If they are not the things he plans to do, they won't say them because, like I said, they are discussing from the manifesto.
Was it possible that he could have taken his team all through because he didn't know the questions that were going to come? So those questions were random.
Yes, he didn't know they were random, but the answers were provided
by all but the candidate himself.
The candidate himself and those that are going to work with the candidate. Like I said, Nigeria is a big country. You don't allow Mr. President to say it all because those that are working with him also have to be part of. Okay, let me give you one scenario. The people said some of our politicians, they go to the office and fail in fulfilling their promises. Because some of them, when they are making their speeches, somebody write this speech for them. They only to just come out and read it. Now, but what Asiwaju has demonstrated in that Chatham House outing is that the manifesto was a collective effort. So everyone that answered question in that place, you would agree with me that they were well informed.
Well, yes. I'm going to throw the same question to you, yes. Whether or not this style,
certainly,
approach,
certainly,
gives validity.
Yes, certainly. You see,
those
number
who
one,
say, well, he's just evading, he's just trying to excuse himself from taking hit punches when it comes to responding to critical questions.
Yes, nothing happened at Chatham as far as Bola Tinubu was concerned that wasn't a kind of already discussed. They knew, they were not surprised by the questions, by the fact that he asked them to take, to take some of these questions. Like I told you,
but
it's a man.
Again,
the critics
will say that. We've said it. He has no clue of what to say. He doesn't like appearing on national TV for town hall meetings, for live debates, and for live interviews.
Excuse me. Yes. And I'm still going to clear the air on that. The truth of the matter is that Bola Tinubu introduced town hall meeting as part of presidential campaign. It was never done before. The town hall meeting, the one he did not attend because the objectivity, the neutrality, the perspicacity of of those who kind of arranged for that town hall was in doubt. I mean, they failed. That is, you're talking about. Let me be specific. The Arise town hall. The Arise town hall failed to meet with our basic, measurement of, integrity, credibility, neutrality, and objectivity. And they have this history of having smeared our candidate in the past. So, and look at how it turned out. It turned out that they simply excluded the other presidential candidates in the race.
But that wasn't the reason your candidate gave.
No,
your candidate said it's because he's marketable and he sees it as an opportunity. They want to use him to make money. That was the reason candidate gave.
No, but that has been on because, like I said, the opposition, specifically the PDP and the Labour Party, have little to tell Nigerians about what they intend to do differently as far as the challenges at hand are concerned from what the APC government is already doing. Our candidate is the only presidential candidate that is acknowledging the fact that generating electricity hitting the mark of 25,000 to 30,000 megawatts needs to build up on what has been done. The others don't want to, the others don't want to accept this reality because they know that there will be the word continuity in it.
Okay, so
the same thing, the agriculture.
Let's talk about continuity here.
Okay, very good.
The 2023 election is more like a referendum for the current administration, the APC. And your candidate has, kept on saying that they are going to consolidate on what the current administration is doing, which you have corroborated here. So, but do you think that that is going to stand in the favor of your candidate, especially if you look at the fact that many Nigerians are not pleased with the current administration? If you look at the numbers, I mean, the last time, by the statistics rolled out by the government itself, 133 million Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. So, what do you say to that?
Well, whether Nigerians are pleased with the government or they are not pleased with the government is a continued process. There must be continued. Is he going to say, I'm going to do to start from 2015 when Buhari came to power? No, he is going to continue from whatever foundation, whatever achievement, or whatever that has happened under the Buhari administration. He is going to continue from there. Where they need to make amend, we'll make amend.
But why should Nigerians trust that you are going to do as you are saying you are going to do now? Now, taking away from the contributions of Nasser Rufai and Dele Alekia, I believe, they said something in the line of increasing the size of our security personnel. We have an APC government that has been battling insecurity since it came to power. This is 8 years. So how is it that we have not seen that increase in the size of our security personnel till date, and now we are hearing that as a promise for another government that is coming in?
Thank you. One reason why we should be trusted is that this is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu talking.
But as a follow-up to that, as a follow-up, he's a leader. He's a leader of the party right now. So we believe that he has a voice, and he would have given advice in the past 8 years.
And he's not going to be using different words.
And it's not exactly
you use
so.
that word advice. You use that word advice.
Yes.
He's not the president. He can advise. Okay? Whether the advice was taken or not taken, or whether he advised, that's not what we don't know about that. But what we are saying is that this is Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, a different person from President Muhammadu Buhari. But even at that, talking about security, if Nigerians should be fair to this government, Buhari has tried. Only God knows what would have happened. You and I, when we were here in Nigeria, where United Nations House was bombed, where, what do you call this plaza in a Wuse?
Abacha Barracks.
Abacha Barracks? Is it what they call that plaza? Was bombed. Even in Nyanya.
Have we seen, has anything changed really, or is it just a matter of strategy that has changed?
Improvement. A lot of improvement. Also, don't forget that before we took over this government, more than how many local governments, about 27 local governments in Nigeria were taken over by the Boko Haram.
It seems that all that has changed is merely strategy that has changed here. We have had the Kuje prison that will continue to stand as an embarrassment for the current administration. Kuje that is just within, the FCT here. We've had even a break-in to the villa some time past, right, under this current administration. So these are certain things that when people see this, it's more like just a change of strategy. We have bandits and terrorists taking levy from communities and demanding them to pay a certain amount for them to go to their farms. This is happening right now.
The last time also, Yeshua, I addressed this issue. The truth of the matter is that as far as insurgency, which this administration met is concerned, it's been 98% done away with. But like I said, it's unfortunate it even started at all. The arms, it is not easy to keep security of a country that has been loose for years. The arms had gone into different hands. And it is because the government of Buhari succeeded in dealing with insurgency that the issue of banditry now came in, and even the monetary aspect, which is kidnapping. This is the truth of the matter. The government is still working on that, and it still needs to do more, and we are still trying to do more. That is the truth. But when it comes to security, the fact is that since when last did you hear of a car bomb in a marketplace in Nigeria? When last did you hear of, excuse me, of the Nigerian territory being overtaken by people who simply want to give it a new name outside the Federal Republic? The bandits are not after the Nigerian territory. They are only after money from the, excuse me, let me land. And the kidnappers are not after Nigerian territory. They are not after the Nigerian flag. They do not want to change names of regions in Nigeria. But Boko Haram wanted to do that. To have stopped Boko Haram, decimated their army to the point that they could no longer kind of, pretend a danger to Nigerians. It's kudos to this administration. But one thing with security, I agree with you, is that you do not know when security is effective until when it fails. That is the problem.
Honorable Danjuma, you say when last did we see? In the lead story of the Daily Trust of Monday,
yes,
46 persons were abducted in villages in Katsina. Today we're seeing bandits kill 3 policemen, others in Sokoto. I mean, this is just this is just the one on the front page.
Yes.
What is your candidate going to do
differently? Excellent. You see, that relates to the question you asked earlier on. The truth of the matter is that in terms of expanding the services, the armed services, that is talking about the Nigerian Army, Air Force, and the Navy, and security organizations, and even the paramilitary, because these are the outlets to combat insecurity. It couldn't have been done by Muhammadu Buhari at inception, because the fronts were quite many. It was quite cumbersome, But now you have a relief. The relief now is that at least the army of that terror group has been decimated. Now our own candidate now intends to recruit the jobless Nigerian youths, millions of them, to expand these armed services. Naturally, you ask me, where do you intend to pay them from? Yes, that is left to us to do. And that is where this restructuring of the economy, which is contained in his manifesto.
Okay.
Comes in.
You talk about, Boko Haram terrorists decimated, but can we really make that distinction between bandits and the terrorists that we're talking about here?
Yes.
Because the last I checked, they are hoisting flags. The governor of Niger State has said that. They are hoisting flags in communities, chasing people out, and taking their wives, taking their children, raping, and demanding them to pay large sums of money, in millions, for them to live in those communities in form of taxes, or they pay for them to be protected so that they can go to their farms and all of that. Do you really see that as different from what the Northeast experienced?
Well, we are not saying that the government has done perfectly well in terms of security. We admit there are still challenges. We agree. But when there are challenges, what do? You go back to drawing table and come up with strategies, more strategies that will help you curtail the challenges. And unfortunately, Buhari is rounding up his tenure. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is coming on board with a new strategy to tackle the challenges. The ones Buhari has done, he will come and improve on it. And I can assure you, that is why he tagged his manifesto, Renewed Hope. There is a renewed hope in Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu becoming the president of Nigeria, because he's going to do things differently. He's going to improve on whatever the Buhari regime has done that has decimated the Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast, and sent them to another level. They are on another level now. They call themselves bandits. They are doing it skeletally, and sometimes they come out. But it is not like the way they come out in mass to confront the military. before this government, the government of Buhari, took over.
All right. Honorable Danjuma, when your candidate was talking like yesterday, he promised to stand firmly against all forms of electoral violence. How is this being communicated to your supporters? Down to the grassroots. How is this being communicated? Because as you know, there's been a lot of attacks, verbal attacks and all of that.
No, it is well communicated, because if you look at our own philosophy of campaigns, it's been issue-based. Unlike the other political parties that makes our candidate, as far as they are concerned, they are looking at for how is his leg, is he standing firm, is he sleeping in wards? That is what makes their own campaign. What makes our campaign is how to improve electricity, how to improve our agriculture, more investment in the agricultural sector, how to improve our transportation. You just showed a picture of the resumption of the trade, of the transportation system between Abuja and Kaduna.
After 250 days.
Exactly. I mean, these are just security measures. You see, there is nothing, like I said, I told you that he is going to expand, use the same youth to expand the capacity of the security forces. But it doesn't stop at that. Look at the economic effect and the social effect on that. You are killing two birds with one stone, because the unemployment that created the basis for most of this insecurity is equally being dealt with on the other side. When you take these millions away from the unemployed market, then you're reducing the capacity of these criminals to recruit more hands to their heinous crimes.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the show. Unfortunately, we do not have all the time to talk about the issues, but we look forward to having you again on the program to talk more. Thank you so much, Honorable Danjuma Mohammed and Comrade Musa Ali Otigba, members of the All Progressives Congress.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right, we'll take a short breather now, and then when we return, we'll take a look at other issues on the program. Join us again.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
All right, thank you for staying with us. You're watching Daybreak on Trust Television, reaching you from the nation's capital. Now, we have a guest in the studio from Star Times. He's Ephraim Wanebu. He is coming here to talk to us about some of the Christmas bonanzas and promos, or I'll say offers, that Star Times is bringing to Nigerians so that they can enjoy the festive period. Thank you so much for joining us, Ephraim, on the program.
Good morning, ma.
So you are here again to talk to us about this solar, package that Star Times is, offering Nigerians. Tell us about what you have for us today.
Right.
Well, we have some packages that my company just brought out. We have the S50. We brought about 1,000. We started selling it late last month, and we are out of stock already because what we did was to give a bonus on that product. We slashed the prices, and currently we are running out of stock because people are rushing it. And this one we have here is the S100. We still have this in stock. The actual price for this is a little bit higher, but because of the Christmas bonus, we had to slash the prices.
So a lot of Nigerians will be wondering, what is this he is holding?
Yes.
And people could be lost. They could even think it's a decoder of some sort, or
no,
or
this
maybe.
is not
So
a decoder.
perhaps you should tell us what it is really. You
This
talk
is
about
Star Times Solar. This is S100. The name of it is Solar S100. The battery is a 90 watts capacity battery, and it comes with a 30 watts panel.
So it's a power generating set.
Yes, a power generating
set. A solar
set.
power generating set.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it comes with a battery, a panel, 4 light bulbs, and the bonus that the package, the complete package, is the solar and the panel and the bulb. But we have a fan attached to it as the bonus, where we slashed the price from 140,000 to 59,000. And for anybody that purchases it at that price, it has a price of a table fan coming with it.
Okay. Can you tell us how many hours can it last, and what can it carry?
Okay. Now, using this in a whole day, it can last you for 24 hours. If you are using it with the bulbs and the table fan, it can last you 24 hours daily, as long as the panel is up the roof, taking the current from the sun and charging it as well. Now, it can charge your phones, depending on how many phones you put. So in a day, it can charge up to 5 to 6 phones in a day, and the battery doesn't run down at will. It is still there as long as the panel is there. So during the daytime, when you're using it, it takes the current from the sun. It doesn't consume the current in the battery. It's when the sun has gone down, that's when it now starts consuming the saved power from the battery, and it can take you to the next morning before the sun comes out.
All right, so I would like for the camera to zoom in.
Okay.
So you show us all the ports and what they do when one is interested now and buys them.
Okay.
What can one do with this box?
Now, this is, like I said, this is the solar battery. This is what generates the current. Now, when you look at it, we have different ports. This is for the panel. You socket the panel here, and it starts charging it. The moment you socket the panel here, you see the thing charging. Then this is for the bulbs. You socket the bulbs here, and this is the USB.
So there
ports.
are 3 bulbs there.
Four ports.
Okay,
for
for 4 bulbs.
Yes, for 4 bulbs. Now these are the ports for your charging of your phone. You can use your USB to charge it, and you will get your phone charged.
So what's the reach of this thing? People in rural areas, can they access this?
They can access it. Now, what we do, we normally drop our numbers on the flyers and on any of our media platforms. So whoever needs it, you just reach us. We'll tell the person the exact place to go and get it.
Okay, so probably someone is in Kwantagora now and is watching you, and he's interested. Where does he go to?
Now, the moment he calls us, we have an office in Kwantagora in Niger State, but we have sales agents in all these local governments. So the moment he calls, what we do, we call our office there and drop the number with our office in that state. So they reach out to him and send the sales agent to that person with the product. So that's what we do.
Is there a warranty on this product?
Yes, the warranty for the battery is for 2 years. So within that 2 years, if you have any problem with it, we come to your house, we pick it, and we change the battery for you. But on the accessories, it has 1 year warranty.
Okay, after the 2 years, what happens?
It belongs to you. The moment you make your payment, it belongs to you. We only tell people that it has a 2 years warranty to know how quality it is. So for that 2 years, I don't think, we've not had anybody that bought this and came back and said it had a problem. We have, for the past 2 years I've been selling solar, we've not had that problem.
So this goes for how much?
59,000. That's the promo price.
That's the promo price.
Yes, and comes with additional with a fan.
Without the promo now, how much?
No, for now we are on the promo. The promo runs from now to January 15th. But when the promo is off, the solar goes for 140,000.
This one?
Yes.
Wow, that's like almost a 50% discount here?
Yes. More than 50%.
More than 50%.
Yes.
59.
Now, what are the other types of this solar system that you have?
Currently, we have for the luxury living, that one comes with a 24-inch TV. I didn't come with it here. Probably when I'm coming next time, I'm going to come with that one. That one comes with a 24-inch TV, comes with our dish, comes with the battery. The battery capacity is way higher than this. Then comes with the standing fan, comes with an adapter and an inverter. You can use light to charge it in case you don't have, probably on a rainy day or the sun didn't come out that day, then you can use an adapter to charge the battery. Now for that one, the price of that one is a little bit high. It's a 299,000 naira. But if you purchase it, we have a bonus attached to it because it comes.
Is that the
TV.
promo price?
No, that one is not on promo.
Okay.
But what we did was that if you are purchasing that one for 2 years, you watch our programs without subscribing because it comes with a TV, an inbuilt TV, and a dish. So the moment you make that payment of 299, we install it in your house with a TV. For 2 years, you are watching our programs without subscribing.
Oh, okay. So aside these ones, they are a bit up. Are there lower prices?
Yes, we have the, like last week I came here with the S50. That one is 24,000. It has 3 lights, can charge 2 phones, and has a radio and a Bluetooth speaker. And that one is out of stock, like I said. But we have another one that is coming in between now and January. I wouldn't know that, but that one's a little bit way lower than this one. For those that cannot afford the one of 24, I think that one will be a little bit lower than it. It still comes with 3 bulbs, but it doesn't come with a radio. You can still charge your 2 phones. That one just a battery, the panel, and 3 bulbs.
When you say way lower, how much are we looking at?
We're looking at between 10 to 20. So that those that cannot afford the one of 24 can still go for that one, and it's a little bit affordable for them.
All right, are there other offers or promos that Nigerians should know about?
Yes, on our decoder we have promos on them. We have this pay for 1 month, pay for 2 months, and get upgraded to the next bouquet for 2 months. So if you're on Nova bouquet, on either the DTT, the terrestrial, or the dish, the dish, when you pay for Nova bouquet for 2 months, which is 1,008, you get to enjoy the one for 8,800 per month. You enjoy it for 2 months. So you're paying 1,008 to enjoy a package of about 5,000 something for 2 months. So when you're on the highest bouquet, you pay for the highest bouquet for 2 months. You have 10 additional days added to you. So that's what we have.
All right. Well, that's good enough. Well, I'm sure that for Nigerians who take advantage of this, be sure that the festive period is going to be fun.
Definitely.
And I believe that's what you're doing as well.
Would you like to share the lines with us
Yes.
so that whoever wants to reach out to you?
Yes, for those that want the solar, I think the number to call is 080-6652-4175. I take the number again, 080-6652-4175. The second line to reach is 081-723-98123. I take the number again, 081-723-98123.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Ephraim, for joining us on Daybreak and sharing these special offers with us.
Thank you.
Yes, our guest is Ephraim Wanebu. He is the solar sales representative of Star Times. Well, with that, we have come to the end of the show for today. In case you have missed, you can watch us across all social media platforms and also on our YouTube channel. My name is Ayuba Ila. Join us again tomorrow for another time on the program.
Thank you for spending this part of your morning with us. Join us same time, same station tomorrow. My name is Stella Iyaji, and do have a very pleasant day.